Great. So we are live on YouTube now. Just a second. We are setting up some things for you over here, my friends. Uh, yes. This is the thing. Yeah. Great. I have my slide over here. Sharon, you can see my slide.
Uh, it's not showing on my end. Let me just double check. Yep, not showing.
Not showing. Okay, no problem. Let me share my screen again. Zoom.
Okay.
Share. Perfect. I think now it should work out.
Yeah, it's showing now.
Great. Great. So, my friends, welcome back. Welcome to Microsoft Excel Power Platform Meetup in Saudi Arabia. Today, I have an exciting guest joining me from all the way from Philippines, and I will be very happy to hear in the comment box where are you guys joining from. And as you know, that Microsoft Excel Saudi Arabia Power Platform Meetup is one place and infinite solution where we connect with everyone, share our knowledge, and learn from each other. And as you know, these sessions are also taking place in person as well in Saudi Arabia. So make sure to go and check out on my meetup page where we are hosting these meetups in person. So if you don't know about myself, some might not know me. I'm Faraz Sheikh. I'm founder of excelexciting.com and an MVP over here in Saudi Arabia and an MCT and a Microsoft Innovative Educator. I love to write about Excel blogs and make YouTube videos about that. And as usual, my mission with the community is to provide exciting solutions with Microsoft Power applications, and my passion is equally to learn from these meetups and learn from you, all my friends. And today I have an exciting guest with me. Her name is Sherwin. She's from Philippines. And Sherwin is Power Platform Solution Architecture, where she's a super user and as well as an MCD. So it's my honor to have in today's meetup because we know that this year we have a meetup theme Women in Tech. So it is my honor to have Sherwin on Women in Tech in Microsoft Excel Saudi Arabia meetup, who will be talking about sharing us this knowledge about how this business transformation happens in Power Apps, how can you use low code, no code technology. And by the way, Sherwin, she has a professional experience about more than 12 years, and we were just chatting before we were getting connected online. So I will leave the floor to Sherwin. And just before that, I would just like to share these were the women in tech, okay, and we had been started in March onwards. So these are the women who has been contributed in this meetup, women in tech, and we'll be seeing some more names. And it's really lovely to have such great people and coming and talking about. So, if you are excited to share about your knowledge and your superhero skills, then please feel free to write me back on excelexciting@outlook.com. I'll be really happy and we can just set up the meetup thing. And just to make sure that you get a better experience, if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to write it in the chat box. In the YouTube, you can just write it also in the YouTube comment. I'll make sure that I'll take it up to Sharon on that. So this is all for my side, and I'll lead the floor to our guest, Sharon, and I'll stop sharing my screen. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Faris. Thank you so much for that warm welcome in the community, and also thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be speaking for the community. So I actually tried to tone down my topic for this evening. But before anything, let me just share my slide and start an introduction about myself. Let me just quickly switch. Can I confirm that you're seeing my screen, my slides?
Yes, I can see your slide.
Yes, thank you so much. So before anything else, hello everyone and welcome to this session. So I'm Charven and I'm from the Philippines. So I'm way down south here in Samal Island. So that's where my hometown is and that's where I'm currently in right now. I am a Currently, even if I'm here in the Philippines, I work remotely as a Power Platform Solutions Architect for Pacer Solutions. It's based in New South Wales, Australia, in Sydney specifically. Then, if you want to reach me out, like anything related to Power Platform, you can reach me out on this email. And here's my QR code. If you scan it, you can see the links to my social media, my blogs. So that's just one link. Short background about me is that I am a super user in the Power Apps community. So super users are normally people who like to answer in the forum. So when I was still learning Power Platform, like from the start, I was always asking, but eventually after like asking lots of questions, I see that there are questions that is similar to mine. So I started answering and eventually I ended up becoming a super user. So that's one of my community activities. I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer. And on like the certification side, I actually decided like 2 years ago, I decided to take the certifications because eventually I want to focus on gaining experience later and instead like having theory first. So like even if I have lots of certifications, I still do believe that experience is real good value when it comes to like becoming a good consultant, may it be Power Platform or any type of technology. So that's why I have built up lots of theoretical knowledge related to Power Platform, but I'm still like right now I'm still applying those theory. And then since I've taken lots of knowledge in a short span, some of them I have to like read now. So in terms of Microsoft Tech Stack, these are my certifications here. Let me just have my high laser. So I have mainly I want to specialize in Power Platform, but my prior knowledge or experience is actually related to systems and network management. So it wasn't difficult to like understand Microsoft 365 administration, and I do have like other certifications as well. Apart from Microsoft, I do have some background knowledge in terms of security, especially with systems management. So I have a CISSP, it's still active now, and also a a One Trust Fellow. So a One Trust Fellow certification is a certification related to your knowledge in data privacy and compliance. So sometimes when I do work with Power Platform, I'm very particular with this stuff. So that kind of makes it challenging sometimes when I create something. So I need to plan when it comes related to security. And on the other side, like of the like why I think this is the reason why Paris knew about me is because of my activity in the community. I actually have two user community in the Philippines. One is Power Apps Pilipinas. That's actually the first group. It was mainly focused on Power Apps and Power Automate. So currently, Power Apps Pilipinas is the largest Power Apps group in the Microsoft community. It's around 300 plus members. We have our website here. And the second one, because like Microsoft has lots of technology and we don't want to create, like for me, I don't want to create a group for each tech stack. So I just, like, along with other founders, we have started Learn 365 Pilipinas. So the goal of this group, the difference is that Power Apps Pilipinas is mainly for us to conduct like informal meetings or related to Power Apps, but anything outside or like on a broader like topics, we conduct it with Learn 365 Pilipinas. This is where we actually conduct free trainings. And for this year, 2024, we have conducted two Power Platform fundamentals training, which follows PL 900 curriculum, and also four other fundamentals training related to Power Platform. Eventually, we might want to go for Azure and maybe Microsoft 365 management. So that's our goal for Learn 365. And the good thing about Learn 365 is like we have registered it as an official nonprofit organization here in the Philippines. So we get to avail Microsoft perks. So we could start doing projects for the community at a lesser cost. So that's Learn 365 Pilipinas. If normally our trainings are actually done in English and Tagalog or like English and Filipino, but the technology is the same. If you're willing to like learn the language or like just sit in, but like most of our instructions are still in English. If you want to join our trainings, feel free to like just follow our page and or like follow our social media page, and you get to be notified with our upcoming trainings. So our trainings are all free, and we also create our own labs. So like we create our own labs so that we don't need to spend money, like we want to allot our budget for other projects. So that's it. That's my invitation for everyone for my local activities. Okay, so let's now dig into the topic in which I'm invited to. Let me just double check my screen.
Yeah. Sherwin, there is a question from YouTube. Would you like to take it now?
Oh, sure. How to get Power Platform certifications. The first thing is you have to go to learn.microsoft.com. I could probably show it after the whole presentation, but like get the topic there. There's like a specific topic related to Power Platform, and it's best you also do you have your own Microsoft account for you to practice all the stuff there, and then you take the exam. Previously, actually before, there's lots of voucher in the community, but right now they have not. Unfortunately, we have to wait for like maybe like some organizations to give out voucher. But if you can pay for your own voucher, you could take it directly from Microsoft. Microsoft has their own website. You just go there. I will demo it later after the presentation, and I could show you some tips on what areas you need to study for you to pass the exam. So, yep, I think that's I answered it, Faris. So, yes, okay.
Right.
I'll start now. So these are my topics for today. Power Platform overview. Like for those of you who doesn't know about Power Platform, why Power Platform, like why you should like probably study Power Platform if you're into the Microsoft environment or like ecosystem. And I would do quick demos on how to create the apps. So this is for you to get started quickly on creating apps, because normally most of the people I know in Power Platform, they started doing Canvas app and they love doing the whole process over and over again. And that's where they started learning deeper. They started learning different tech and applications related to Power Platform. And then if we still have time, I would show another way. Like it's the slow way actually of creating apps. But this is what most people do if they want to create a really like pretty app, or like if they have to like create lots of customizations. So yeah, let's get started. Let's see. So this is Power Platform. And Power Platform right now, before there were only few apps, but right now it's like a whole ecosystem. So it's composed of different Microsoft applications. On the outer side, like we will discuss it from the outer side to the inner side. Currently, we have the outer side, which is the Copilot. So I don't want to assume, but like Microsoft has really done well in making people knew about their Copilot product. So Copilot is their AI technology, which is from OpenAI. So this one is actually the one that exists in most of the apps in in Microsoft ecosystem. So you would hear something like Copilot for Microsoft 365, Copilot for Azure, Copilot for Dynamics 365. So every product of Microsoft, they have Copilot. So in Power Platform as well, there's a Copilot. So what does Copilot do? So a Copilot in Power Platform, they allow us to quickly tell the system we need this information, or like we need to create an app, or like can you please explain this formula for me, or like create an automation. So these are some examples, like every month create an automation that every month like copy all the files from OneDrive to another OneDrive folder. So these are like things that you could instruct Copilot, and then it will create the automation. What you just have to do at the end, once it started the draft for you, is you just have to modify the connections in order for the automation to know which folder they're gonna take the file out and which folder they're gonna put the file. So that's for like Copilot. And then in Power BI, they actually have this 1 year, but like right now, only few people are able to access this, or like there's a certain license they have to access. But the great thing about this is you just load up your data. Like let's say you have like a huge Excel file of like raw data, and you explain to Copilot, this is my data, like you give it an idea, and then it will create the whole Power BI for you. And what you have to do is just edit it. So it allows you to save more time and focus more on what kind of report you want. So that's for Copilot. So Copilot normally, like if I do a demo about Copilot, it would take like 2 hours. So let's just leave it at that, and then let's proceed to the next product, which is Power BI. So Power BI is an analytics tool. It allows you to create interactive reports and then create insights, so that when someone is viewing your data, they're not just viewing static data. They could interact with it and create what if scenario. Like what if they do this? So it helps organizations to create data driven decisions. So I would like to share this example here. This is an entry that I did for a competition related to Power BI last December. And for this one, you can download it here. There's a template. You can just scan this QR code here or type this URL. So for this one, if you click on the purchase factor, what you could see is actually some of like key informations if you want to analyze sales data. So like the data that we used for this competition was like not really real data. So it's almost quite similar. Like for example, the payment type, like you will see that most customers in the data, they use like they kind of share almost equally the population of people who are using debit card, online payment, cash, and credit card. So, but if you have an actual raw data loaded in here in this report, you could understand what's the character or personality of your target audience, and that's how you could probably do more optimizations on your sales. Like if you know what gender buys most, or like as you see here, like we can see time of the day, like maybe which time of the day you have most sales, and which, like, do you have more sales during rainy weather. So like for this one, this shows it, but this is not a real data, so it doesn't really make sense sometimes. Like it's almost equally the same, like the same. So you cannot create interpretation for this, but this is an idea for you to know this kind of report. And then let's go to the next one, which is Power Apps. I will just touch this briefly because we'll talk more about it after the whole introduction of Power Platform. So Power Apps is the part of Power Platform which allows you to create your own app really, really quick. It allows you to create a mobile app, an iPad app, or like a tablet app, and these both here are accessible via web browser as well. So, and there's also feature in Power Apps if you want to actually like build apps that's going to be available in Apple Store or iOS Store. It's Apple Store or the Android Play Store. It's possible for you to create those and then wrap your apps and then put it there. So that's for Power Apps. So when you develop the app, you would have this kind of UI. It's very, for me, like it's very intuitive. You know where to insert. Like you just drag and drop stuff here. There's another version of this editor, which is this one. It's called model driven, but we won't touch it. But like for this kind of app, it actually has most of the structure already. And then you just focused on adding some data in here and then put it on the side. So this kind of editor is mainly for Dataverse data, and we normally use Dataverse if you want to create really scalable apps, especially for enterprises. So if you know you're creating an app that would probably reach like 100,000 or like 10,000 records in a year, it might be best that you start learning about model driven apps. And then here are some ideas. So I have this list here. So for this one, what we have in here are a list of apps that you could create in Power Apps. Because sometimes I think some people are they don't know where to start. So here are some ideas for you. And if you actually go to Power Apps, you would have the template section. In the template section, you don't need to like start from scratch. There's like an estimator, a help desk, like an interview tool, inventory management. So you have some templates that you can use if you need something really quick. Like if you don't want to start from scratch, you have it in Power Apps. And that's Power Apps. Let's go to Power Automate. Power Automate is the part of Power Platform that lets you create automated workflows. So this is an example, by the way, of Copilot in Power Automate. Like you can instruct to add certain actions and then it will create actions for you in order for you to perform more functions within your flow. So we call it flow, the item that like the file or like the thing that we create with Power Automate, we call it flow. A flow would start with a trigger. So it can be a scheduled trigger. Let's say you want a flow to run every Monday morning to send email to everyone. Instead of you sending it manually, you can schedule it. And then you could use lots of connectors on this one. Okay, there is a question here before I proceed, because this is related to the Power Apps part. Where the data is stored in Power Apps. Can we store it in Excel? Yes, you can store it in Excel, and you have to wait until the end of this presentation because I will be showing you how to use Excel as a database. But at the same time, I would show you some pros and cons into it. So stay tuned on that part. Okay, so that's for Power Automate. And like Power Apps, I have here some suggested functions that you can start. And if none of this suits you, you could start looking into the templates in here. So Power Automate and Power Apps are really flexible. So as you see, there's lots of templates available. You could see the number of people using the templates. And it's just up to you to decide which part of your workflow you want to automate. So for my case, with Learn 365 Pilipinas, sorry, let me just go back. For our user group, I use Power Automate to issue certificate to course completers. So instead of me sending or like subscribing to a third party subscription, I decided I create a flow that will read the data from my SQL server. And then once a new record in that SQL table shows up, it's gonna trigger a flow in Power Automate. And then I know at first I did make it automatic, but like there are times when I have to review the data first before. So I have just a list of like people who are ready for receiving the certificate. And after reviewing their data, like I get that list. After reviewing that data, I click send, and there's a flow that's gonna generate a customized certificate for every participant. So if I do it manually, it's gonna take lots of time. And if I do like subscribe to another service that allows me to create certificates for individuals, it's also gonna cost money. So like if you're trying to save on those areas, you might want to explore Power Automate. Let's see here. Next one, Power Pages. So Power Pages is the part of Power Platform where you create websites specifically for like your clients. So normally this is not, you should not treat it as your like a replacement for like common websites like Wix, WordPress. So this is not a replacement for those things. So you usually have your internal users use all the Power Apps that you create in Power Apps, and you would have like things created in like you would need any automations, you use Power Automate. So most of the time, once you start going big, you have to use Dataverse. And if you want this data to be available externally, you would need Power Pages so people can access your data inside your organization securely. Because Power Pages is the underlying technology there is mainly based on the Azure security, the Microsoft security. So it allows you to secure your data while letting your user, like external users or clients, access it. So like what are examples of this? So like for example, you want to create customer support portal, HR portal, or like for some, like if you're working in a school, they usually have like, I see most Power Apps pages that they have deployed, they use it for enrollment purpose. So when people enroll, like for example, they start enrolling in this system, it goes here, and then their, let's say, admission team, they would see it in here and then like do processing of their enrollment. So that's for Power Pages. And then let's go next, Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio, let's head back here. If you notice Power Platform, most of the components here are all starting with Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Pages. So previously, Copilot Studio is actually called Power Virtual Agents. So it's the tool that's used to create chatbot, and because of AI, it was renamed to Copilot Studio. The reason for this is that before, when they create apps, they have to like know what could be the possibilities. Possibilities in terms of like what are the possible questions that the user may ask. So there's lots of steps in order for you to create a chatbot. But with right now with Copilot, because it's built with OpenAI, like it's integrated with OpenAI, instead of like, let me shift to this screen here, instead of like you selecting those things, you just describe everything that you want to do, and you can straight away get an a copilot in here, and you can start deploying it straight away to different websites or social media. So the good thing about Copilot is you can add knowledge base. So you can load here your SharePoint site. Let's say you have a huge load of policy sites in SharePoint. And the people or like organizations that really benefit a lot from this are those who have like proper data management. Some people who jump straight away to Copilot, sometimes they don't get the benefit straight away because if you don't have a proper data structure, Copilot would be jumping from one topic to another, or like they would have a limited access. So having a good archive of your, like a good folder or structure of your files, you put it in a proper place, and then you let Copilot access it, you could really have a great chatbot. So like the other apps, it also has templates. So you don't need to like, you can play around with the templates before you decide what would be the best use case for this one. Okay, we have questions here related to Power Apps, I guess. Are those apps native or hybrid? I would need to like get your definition of hybrid. So our apps are, I don't think we can call, if you want to put it in iOS, it's still a wrapped up, like inside it, it's like, it's still a Power Apps. But instead of you trying to rebuild it in the iOS or the Android store, you just deploy it straight away. But like the wrapping process actually took a lot of time for me in order for me to familiarize. But yep, the native one, that's what we call wrapping. And then for the hybrid, I will confirm my answer if you give more definition on what hybrid like mean. And then, okay, so that's for Copilot Studio. And then we have here PowerFX. So underlying these apps, PowerFX is here. We also have Dataverse, connectors, and AI Builder. So normally we don't like, I'm just getting my tool here. So for example here, so normally Power Apps, if you want to use Power Apps, like you could use it with PowerFX, and definitely you have to use it with connectors. And then sometimes by default, like all of these apps here, they're actually stored on Dataverse by default, except for Power BI, because Power BI has a different like storage space. They call it workspace. So this here, the third level are like the resources that can be used throughout the apps. Let's explore them one by one. So we have this four here. First is PowerFX. PowerFX is the language of Power Apps. So PowerFX is actually quite similar with Excel formula. So lots of people who are familiar with Excel, who have done like lots of scripting in Excel, you can easily learn Power Apps, I think. Because this is like an example we have in here, and these codes are actually live. So this on top here, it's this one is a formula for a color. And as you notice, the moment you scroll down the app, it changed the color. So it's actually a live app. It's like if you're familiar with programming, basic programming, I think the most resemblance on this one is VB.net. So if you build those window type apps before, it's really quite similar, and you could straight away create lots of effects in your apps. And if in here, if you can recall, like these are like quite similar formulas with Excel in here. So they have write, find, substitute, length, substitute. So these are all formulas that exist in Excel. So you could straight away translate that knowledge to creating apps. We also have this one. So these are like examples of how Power FX formula is. So like just that. I won't go deep into this because I think I still need to use my time to discuss other stuff. So next is AI Builder. AI Builder is the part where if you want to utilize services of Azure or Microsoft related to AI. So this one is actually built way before the advent of OpenAI, ChatGPT. So these ones, they usually train AI to create or extract information from documents. Like we have here, extract information from invoices. Because sometimes maybe you want to take photo of your invoice in your app. Then you want to load that data instead of like someone reading it, an AI or your app could retrieve the data, and then the person who's actually in charge with it, they're in charge of checking or like verifying the correctness of the data. So we have lots of AI available in here, and these are still relevant even if like there's already ChatGPT, because these AIs are trained for a specific process, so they are more accurate compared to generic AI. So we have this AI builder. And lastly, we have the connectors. So connectors is a way for us to load up data to our apps or our flow. So with connectors, we're able to connect to actually the services like the one we've talked earlier, the Excel. If you want to connect to any other services in the Microsoft ecosystem, or even third party, like if you notice here, there's actually lots of Google product like Gmail, Google Drive. So there's lots of third party. Right now, there's about like more than 1,000 connectors available for Power Platform. So connectors are pre-created endpoints of a third-party system or like a Microsoft system. And that endpoint allows you to either read data or like retrieve data or manipulate data on that file. So that's for connectors. And lastly, sorry, it wasn't the last one, so but Dataverse. So Dataverse is where we store data. So unlike SQL servers or like SQL store tables, Dataverse is quite more advanced because it's not just a storage of data, mainly here. Because in Dataverse, you have like security because it's also built in Microsoft environment. It has also logics, and you can create rules within your table. Instead of just doing up, you can create straight away within the table. And it has lots of integration with advanced developer tools. So Dataverse is really a great tool if you want to create scalable app because it allows you to restrict people. Like for a huge table, sometimes you want users to only access their own record and maybe their department's record. It's possible to quickly implement it in Dataverse. If you do it in probably like SharePoint, you probably have to tweak a lot in the security, like lots of workarounds. So having the right knowledge to actually weigh in which database would be the right choice when it comes to making when it comes to choosing the right database for your apps, that allows you, like, you need to study more in when it comes to that part. But like for now, don't worry about it. It's just for you to understand that if you need to scale your app for a bigger project, since there will be lots of people using it and you want it to be something like future proof, you would have to like start studying about Dataverse. So that's the 4 apps that we see in here. And lastly, manage environments. So manage environments, it's a feature that is there already for a long time, but it has more emphasis now because AI has been AI is here. People get smarter in using technology. At the same time, threat actors or like bad people like hackers, they start also become more active. So it's always it's always better that you understand what are the capabilities of Power Platform in terms of securing your files and data. So it allows you to create Azure AD, connect with Azure AD. By default, as we know, we have to log in using our Microsoft account. So this is given. But at the same time, we can do role-based access control. So that means like we can set up a system where the sales team can only access sales data. The finance team are only entitled to access their own. And then maybe we can have like the group of CEO or maybe a single CEO access all those data. And then we also have security and how to manage it. So like maybe there are some apps that are not used for a long time. That's where we start you doing life cycle management or like analytics or like automations. So if an app has not been active for let's say 30 days, you can set up automation that it can be archived so it doesn't sit there. And then also the good thing about this is compliance. So it allows you to create audit or reports. So you don't need to like start from scratch when it comes to compliance like GDPR. So at least you know straight away who has access with your data, and if in case it goes bigger, you have the tools in the managed environments. So that's the Power Platform. It's the Power Platform tech stack. So you have it in here. So I hope you have a bit of an idea. And if you want to learn more, there's always Microsoft Learn. That's what we'll show later. So now let's proceed to our next topic. So why I am pushing for like for me, I'm not a salesperson of Microsoft, but this is my stand on why we need to like why Power Platform. So as what you've seen earlier, there's like I think there's three main business value or like value that we can get from it. So let's go first with this one. So first, if you have Power Platform, in terms of operational value, you get to have a boost productivity because when you automate things, people like you allow your employee or maybe a staff to allocate their time on high value activities. So that's one. Then you can enhance collaboration because like for example, if they create Power BI, they could share the data with another and then they could create better insights. Also, cost saving because in a traditional development of power like of an application, it usually takes months and then you would need lots of professional. But like if you have someone in your team, so just if you have someone in your team that has expertise in the process and also a bit inclined technically, like they can learn really well, like maybe they know a bit of Excel, they could start exploring Power Platform and create those kind of services or digitize those services quickly because Power Platform can help you do that. At the same time, as I mentioned, it's you can quickly deploy it and at the same time it's scalable. So but the scalable part you still have to learn the technology, and once you learn it, it's easy for you to create and deploy scalable solutions. And lastly, that what we just covered with the managed environment, it allows you to ensure security and compliance of your solutions. So next is we have here operational value. So actually, sorry for this one. This should actually be strategic value, this benefit here. So you create data-driven decisions. You empower your users to create more solutions that will improve their workflow. You foster innovation and you could actually increase your revenue opportunities. I may have not posted it in here, but I just want to share that there was a recent study in Microsoft Power Platform that in 3 years time of investing in Power Platform, there's like around 200% return of ROI in terms of productivity. But this is mainly for the enterprise level. They are using Power Platform along with great consultants who are familiar with the technology. But like lots of people are also claiming that within 6 months they get ROI when it comes to using solutions related to Power Platform. So next is something personal for me. This is like the value that you get if you start doing Power Platform. So I checked earlier the price of Microsoft 365 Business Basic in Saudi. It's currently at $6 per user per month. So with this amount, you actually get the suite, the Outlook. I think it's 50 gig or 100 gig. You get to access like use PowerPoint, Excel, Word. And then the great thing about this is if you're doing like, if you're really a small business, you have the booking. So if you want people to book your service, there's instead of purchasing for Calendly or like third party apps, you can straight away use bookings. And then there's OneNote, which is a counterpart probably of Notion, so you can use it here. Plus you have OneDrive and Teams. So you can check the price in here, but this is the minimum license that you need to have. And once you have it, you are free to create power apps. You create simple like you can use Power BI. You use it for like Power Automate, and like since these two are actually running on top of Dataverse, you actually get I think 3 gig of Dataverse space. So with these benefits, like I know there's I think the most common, as far as I know, that's being used against like Power Automate is Zapier. It costs around $20 a month, but this one like you could use it for free. But there's a catch here. Like I just want to let you know that you could use the free, like the standard tier of this. They still have their premium version, but if you're only using it for like basic flow automations, this is really a good start for you to start if you want to start learning Power Platform. Also, yeah, so those are the business values that I would like you to consider when it comes to like thinking of learning or like starting to look at Power Platform as a viable solution for your business. So next, now this one. So this is the less boring part. I will be introducing you to Canvas apps in more detail. We'll try to explore the quick creation tool, which is Excel, SharePoint, and Copilot. So this one, we'll try to do it in 15 minutes. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop it on the chat. Okay, so this is again the whole ecosystem, and we'll focus on the Canvas app. Just a quick, like some trivia on this one before, because some of you might not know or like just want to inform you. Before 2022, we have like 3 apps that can be created with Power Apps. We have the Canvas app, Model Driven app, and the Power Apps portal. After 2022, they converted Power Apps portal to becoming Power Pages, and there's only now 2, Canvas app and Model Driven app in Power Apps. So these are actually these are some of the probably an easy way for you to decide straight away which one to use. So if you want to create like full control on your Canvas app, like customize the logos, you want to like if you want full customization, you would want to use Canvas app, but you have to note that there's a limitation in scalability. Though I know there are some who could really go really well with the scalability with Canvas app. So it takes a bit of learning in order to get past these limitations here. And then it's also affordable for small apps. If you're like making something for an enterprise organization, maybe a medium or like enterprise, you would start to have to look at model driven apps. They do have limited layouts. You cannot make stuff jump from one place to another, but it's really scalable, and you could create flows within the data. Like as what I mentioned earlier, there's lots of uh, features you can do with Dataverse. And then hired, the cost is a bit high because there's like Dataverse reliance. So there's lots of things you need to learn when it comes to choosing. But like once you start jumping into it, creating solutions, everything will just come naturally. Like that, I think that was my experience. I started doing Canvas app and then doing a simple app. Then eventually I need to like explore and ensure that my app is like future proof. So that's where I started learning. So please don't be overwhelmed by this information. I'm just giving you some informations that could be useful for you as you learn using the app. So okay, let's start making an app. Before we go into detail, here's the thing. We're just going to create a phone book app where it has the crude functionality. So this is a basic functionality. We're going to make it create a data, read the data, update, and delete. So what are like the functionalities? So we want our phone book app to be able to add fields, name, like new information with name, phone number, email, and notes. We want it to be able to read anything that we add in here, and then should be searchable and sortable. Then we want to be able to edit, and also we want it to like we want to delete the record. So that's it. We'll have to have like three ways to create it quickly. So I will show it to you one by one. Let's start first. So instead of going straight away with Excel, I'll start first with SharePoint. So you have a quick idea, because there's like some sort of differences on this one, and I want to show it to you straight away. If we do straight away with Excel, I feel like it won't be like you can't appreciate it well. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to switch my screen to a browser. So I'm not very familiar with using Zoom. So please be patient and just double checking. Okay, so let's start first with SharePoint. So for SharePoint, we head over to this data here. Okay, uh, I'm just going to squeeze it a bit and zoom so you can see. So we have this empty SharePoint site I've created. So to use SharePoint as like a database, you just have to create first a list. So this is going to be our database. We'll call it phone app, and then create. I should have created it. Let me just name it properly. Phone book app, and then let's call it SharePoint SP. So first, we have the title. We'll just rename it as name. So we will have it there. Then next, we put email address. Then single. Then phone number. So we'll just put it this one. So we won't have lots of conditions for this. And last one, this one would be multiple line of text because this will be notes. So if in case you want to write more information. So that's it. So now you have a list, and there's an option in SharePoint actually to have it integrate, and then click on Power Apps, then create an app. And we just have to wait for less than a minute. So let's see what happens. So while that's loading, let's see if it's really quick. Okay. I want to go to a different screen, but it might finish on. Yeah, it's finished on. So now we're done. Done with the app. So in less than a minute, what we have is created a full working app. So how do I know? So like we, this is the studio we use for creating the app. This is the play button. This is where you want to test the app. So right now we don't have any record yet. So let's just try. Just ignore this one for now, okay? We have title. Let's put John Doe. That's the name. Let's see that. And then some notes. So actually, since SharePoint allows attachment for a list, this one automatically allows you to add attachments. Like if you want to add some files, you can put it straight away here. And then once that's done, that's it. We have our record. And if we go back to our database, refresh, now you have record in there. So we can keep on adding. Let's say James Doe. James Doe. Let's use outlook.com in this one. And then, yeah, and then some notes. Then there, you have two records here. In this one, if you refresh it, your SharePoint list, it has two records. And the nice thing about this, we've completed the, what do we call? We completed the create part, right? And this one, this actually has the search function already. So the part of crude, which is like read, we can search and we can sort them out. We can sort it. Let's add a third one. So like Anna, just Anna, outlook.com, and then just some notes, then save, and we would have this here. So if you want to sort it out, you notice Anna is here, the first, like alphabetically, and we can just shift. And the good thing about this, if you click in here, you can see more details. You can edit it. Let's say John Doe, John Smith, like we have that. And let's say we want to update. And just note that whatever you're doing, it's getting updated in your SharePoint list. So you kind of have your own mini app. And then once that's done, like let's say, okay, I want to delete, you just click in here and then delete. And that's it. So that's a quick way to do it. Before we proceed with other apps, because it's the same thing that we'll do later, we can customize it. There's like theme function here. So if you want a different kind of color, different set, you have this one in here. This is actually called like the generation one of Power Apps. There's lots of modern design here, but for now, like you can settle with this because we don't want to consume too much of our time. You could click on the controls. We call it control. Anything inside this box, the screens here, these are all controls. If you click a control, you can modify its properties. So let's say we want to call it like Charven app or like maybe phone book, and then have it there. We want to, let's say, we want to increase the text. We could click this here, select them all together, and look for the font size. Say maybe we want it to be 15 or like 18 altogether. Then we want this to be bold. Right now we have this one. Like I'll just delete it so we can make updates. So the names will be highlighted and we can, let's say, make it color orange. And there. And then remember the form that we had earlier when we were editing, this title. We can just unlock this one and that's where we can start modifying it as name. Because what doesn't matter how it's called in the database or in the app, but we want to ensure that our users know what this is for. Because if you leave it as a title, they're gonna ask like, what is the title? Like, what's the title? So you want to make it very intuitive. So like phone. So yeah. Uh, Let me just double check if there's any questions in the chat because I'm unable to see it. But yeah. So that's it. That's the first part of the app where you're able to create this quickly. And once you're done with your app, you just put a name on it. Let me just name it demo app SP. So we have that, then save, publish. So that's it. Our app is done. If we head back to make that powerapps.com. So as long as you actually have a work email or a school email, this one should work unless your IT admin restricted you to access it, and then you can start playing around with it. So the one that we just created, let's see, let's just refresh and make that powerapps.com. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that this is the URL we have to go if you want to start making the app. So let's head over here. Our app name is demo app. We have to wait for it a bit in order for us to see it in here. So while we wait for it to show up in here, while we wait for this demo app to show in our app list, let's leave it there. I'll put it on the side. And now let's try creating from Excel. So first thing you have to do when you want to create an app with Excel, you have to create your Excel file. So here, I'll choose workbook, and then we will name it as phone book. Just proper naming first, phone book, and then Excel, and then we have that. Now we need to create our database. Unlike SharePoint, we just do it like this. Name, let's see, put phone number first, then email address, and then we will have also notes. So like that. Okay, so now we have our like header. We need to convert it as a table. So like this, you can choose how many rows you want, but like it doesn't matter. Like you can even choose this, but I would normally would use like a number of rows first, then click on insert, then you see here table, and then my table has headers. And then let's go to table design so we can name it like, let's say, phone book table. So like let's just name it that, and then that's it. We have our database. Now we go back to make that powerapps.com. So I will open a new tab in here. Make that powerapps.com. So unlike SharePoint, in SharePoint you can straight away use this function to create an app. For Excel, you have to head over, like there's various ways to do it, but this is one way to do it for the first timers. You have to click create. You select Excel here. And SharePoint, you could actually do it from this as well. So like, let's see here. And then we will select a new connection. Then we'll look for, I know you might want to look for Excel here, but what you have to find here is OneDrive for Business because our file is actually in OneDrive. And then create. Just let it load. Are you able to see my other window?
We are able to see a screen with connections,
Yeah. Okay. So it's all right. I'll switch my screen. Let me just share. Okay, so this is the prompt that will show up on your screen. And then this one, you just have to select the login. So like for this one, I will select my account for this demo. And then you just allow it to access. And then once it's allowed, it's now closed. It's automatically closed. So we just head back to our previous window. And then we have to find that file. So just to recap, our name is phonebook Excel. So if we head back to our other screen, let's say here, we need to find that phonebook Excel. Then click this one. So this is the table that we've created. Then connect. And then we just wait for it to be done doing the app as well. Like what we did earlier with SharePoint. So while waiting for that, it's actually, oh, it's done really quickly. So let's try now. Start creating, adding records. Let's say, okay, so this one, it created it in different order, but let's ignore it for the meantime. Let's just add our information. We have some information from earlier. It's a browser feature. So I will use it, and then let's just put test and then add. So you may get this error. You cannot write file source if the file is locked. Like in Excel, it's actually a native function, because in Excel, you have to, let me just bookmark this one. It's once it's opened by a user, it's normally locked for any other apps to use it. Only people who are collaborating on the file can make adjustments or add data into it. So what you have to do is you have to close this one, and then let's try attempting adding again the record, and then let's see, and then that's it. We're able to add it. If we open again the file, so I bookmark this one, it's here. So one advice that I would want to give you is once you've started like creating the app, delete first those empty spaces and then leave it blank, so like you will have a cleaner view of your app. So please note that you need to retain this kind of structure. You should not remove or like change this information, because once you remove it, you have to redo the whole thing, and like it's gonna be a lot of work. So we have this one here. You can create the same customizations as we did. So the only thing I would do for this one is a quick theme change. And then also in here, like as we saw earlier, we have different layout. Like we want the name to be on top. So what we can do is we can adjust this one. Just drag the parent, this box here, we drag it on top. But like a quicker way to do it is just you select any control in this form, then you go to fields, and then you just shift it, and then let's say you want the phone number to be after the name. That's it. It straight away does it. And then save. Let's call it demo app for Excel, and then save, and then publish. So this one is the publish. So this actually allows you to share it with another user. So once that's done, if we head back to our tab earlier where we want to see all our apps, we just have to wait for it. Or maybe I'm in the wrong environment. Okay, so we have it here. So not my apps. Okay, it's showing now. So we have demo app Excel. So for you to share it, you just click on play. Sorry, not play. You just click on share. Actually, this button is already in the view where you're editing the app. You can start sharing this one with another person. And you need to ensure that when you share this file, you also need to share the Excel file for them so they're able to write the data, or else they would be blocked. So those are some things that you have to, like, you'd probably learn if you go for like a full day course for Power Apps. So this is the two demo. So let's go for the next one, the third one. The third one is a different one. We'll use Excel on this one. So, sorry, we will use Copilot on this. So for Copilot, we usually have a prompt. So I prepared one and then put it in here. So I have like, I went to ChatGPT. I told ChatGPT I need to create an app, help me create a prompt. So it's more organized instructions. So once I have that, I just click on go, and I don't need to set up my table. I wait for ChatGPT to suggest any fields on this one. So let's see how it goes. So we have like the contact and the notes. But normally for demo, I usually want to use only one table. I don't want to set up complications for the meantime. Just one table. And then what I will want to know is like what kind of table it has created. So let's see. In here, I can view the data. So the difference between the other two is that AI could straight away put sample data for me. And unlike the two that I have created quickly, this one, this is Dataverse. So as you see, Dataverse allows us to create a table specific for phone numbers, and we also have the emails. And then that's it. We also have the notes. And I will just, once I'm done, so by the way, we have this one here. I want to choose Canvas app for this app project. So just leave it as that, then save and open up. So let's just wait for it to be created. I think it's also quicker. So let's see how it goes.
Sharvin, there is a question in the chat.
Yes,
And the question from YouTube: can we import someone created app in different organization?
like like you want, right? Well, the process on that one is that you need like from different organization, but are they using also Microsoft? Because it's possible you
I
just
think I think
invite them.
I think
Yes.
the question is mentioning about the same organization, different organization. What I understand from the
Mm-hmm.
question, that can we import someone created app in different
Ah,
organizations?
yes.
That means like if you have created an app in Power Apps, like right now, what you have created
Yes.
in phone books. So it's in your organization, and
Oh,
if I need that same app, maybe I think there could be something called export app, something option
yep.
would be, right?
Yes. Like if you have here, you can check, see there's actually here, you can download a copy or save as. So most people would use this. Other people would want to use, let's head back to make that powerapps.com. I'll open a new tab just so we can explore. You select the app, and then you have this like details.
Yeah.
There's actually export package in here, and then you can export it.
Yeah.
Like,
It is somewhat similar like what we have in Power Automate as well.
yes, it is. It's possible to import and export apps from different organization. So the only thing is that it's normally like for anyone who's doing Power Apps, the basics that we have when we actually start, like, if you have an app that's dependent on a certain flow, let's say you have a very complex app already, not just a very basic one like this, you should start using solutions and start putting it. It's like a box, an empty box. You just click create, like, let's say test solution, And this is highly advisable. You should put a publisher here. Let me just test this one. So let's say a test company. So it's nice. It's how people normally brand their product. So like we have that. Let's have it here. So a solution is an empty box, but that's where you can start putting in all your app, or like if your app has anything, like if it's using any kind of flow, it's best to put everything. Even if you're just starting actually with one app, it's best to start putting it in a solution, because when you export it, you just export it like this, export solution, and then you export it as and manage this one. Don't use this one because this means it's for viewing only. If you want to make it like editable in another environment, you have to click and manage. So the good thing about this is, let's say I'll just add some existing apps that I've previously created. Add existing. Let's say Canvas app. So if I have an app like this one, I could straight away like click this, and I could select advanced, add dependencies, or add required objects. So if anything that I might have done with the app, like for example, this is a Dataverse table, I could straight away import it all in a box. And then when I deploy it in another environment or another organization, it's fully working. But there's some settings you have to learn. But that's the idea. You get to put everything in one box instead of importing individual apps. Like let's say you have 10 apps. So you don't want to do it one by one. You would want to put them in a box so straight away you can export it quickly and then import it quickly as well. So yeah, I hope the question was
Yeah,
answered.
yeah, it was very clear there. Thank you.
Okay, so going back here on this one, we do have this phone book in here. This is the one we created with Copilot. So this is currently the new version of design in Power Platform, in Power Apps. Before, this is the common design that we would see in apps. But this has lots of flexibility, and unlike the previous one, this one can open in web, and it's already ready for use for mobile actually. This is how it would look for mobile. You have some test information. You could add some information in here. Let's see. It's a bit small, but like when they open it in an app, they can quickly use it. Let's just test it with a different device. Let's use a window. So like for example, this one, test, want to add. Let's add a new record. I think we're adding already. Um, test, save. It has just some issues with how, like, let's say you're adding a record, but it's not, it's showing John Smith, so it gets a bit confusing. But this is a basic app already that's working. You have the add, edit, and like delete. And once you delete it, the record is deleted. So the only thing with this one, its database is within Power Platform, which is Dataverse. If we head back here, we can see that it's in Dataverse. So when we want to view it, we can either click here and view the data, or we could head back to Power Apps, like the one that we viewed earlier, and then head back to tables and find the table called phone books. This is the one that it's one of these two, I think this one, where we have our information loaded up. But I just deleted that one, so we could try again. One more. Sorry, we have 3 in here. So let's add some row. So let's just add that information. And if we refresh the table in here, the refresh is a bit different. You have to go to a different view and then see in here. So we have our data in there. So that's the three quick ways to do it. And in respect of time, I won't be doing like showing the manual way because it actually takes a lot of time. I would want to show uh, a work from a friend in the Filipino community. Let me just find his profile for the meantime. I will open it shortly, but if you have any questions, I will let's search it. So they joined a program in Microsoft called Power Up program. It's actually an ongoing one. But before we search on that one, this is his profile and this one here. So he has a Power Up project. I will look for it shortly, but this is a very nice program of Microsoft Power Up program. So for those who want to learn and get free certificates, I forgot to like emphasize this earlier. So even if you're not a career switcher, you can sign up for this one. They're gonna open a new cohort soon. You're going to learn a lot of power ups in here. It's an 8-week program, and you get a voucher as well once you finish, so you don't need to spend any. So it's a free program where MVPs will be helping you learn, and you can build your own first app and understand the whole Power Platform in more detail. And yeah, uh, and by the way, this is the Power BI I wanted to show earlier. This is the Power Apps one, where sorry, this is not Power Apps, but this is Power BI, where you could interact and you can download actually this template from this website. So you could practice interacting with the data by using this filter in here. So that's it. So far is I think that's actually the end of my presentation, and maybe while wrapping up or like while doing a discussion, I could start actually looking, or like I could share in the comments or the description of this video the link to Rico's work related to Power Platform, because he really created a very nice looking Power Platform, and many people could not believe that it was created within Power Apps. So yeah, that's the I think that's the end of my video and my presentation as well. Let me switch my screen here. So instead of like doing manual creation, I just want to review that this is the coverage that we had for today, except for the manual creation. And thank you so much for inviting me. And if you need to contact me related to Power Platform consultations, here is my email.
Thank you, Sharon, so much. Thanks a lot. I was just checking the chat, I think you have almost answered
Yeah.
the question on the way when we were doing on the session.
Mm-hmm.
So it was lovely, and it's really nice to see how this technology works together, the synchronizing that ecosystem of 365, where you can
Yeah.
connect your Power Apps, you can connect the Power Automate, you can use the tools like Excel, like beginner users, they can come up in Excel, they can get your hands dirty with this app, and and then can dive into more into like Dataverse, and
Mm.
they can really create the stuff. So what I see sometimes the technology is being when Microsoft is focusing, I see it and we are observing it that they are trying to keep the consistency on all the platforms. So the learning
Yeah.
becomes easy on any of the platforms when they go, whether it's Power App or it's go when we go to Power BI, we can see you have measures, you have Power Query over there where what you're doing it in Excel, you can do it similar way in the DAX in Power BI. So such
Mm.
kind of thing is really really handy, and getting it to hear from the expert like on the Power App. It's my pleasure to have you once again. On this Power Platform meetup of South Arabia and Excel, and we would definitely plan some more sessions where you can deep dive and show us something more about Power Automate and connecting these great technologies.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I would.
yeah, yes, please.
Oh, sorry. I would look forward to those things. I'm happy to like share more information. It's just normally when I do these trainings, I usually do 8 hours just to cover the fundamentals of Power Platform and deal with specific technology. So I hope like for those who are interested, feel free to join our community in the Philippines. Though we speak Tagalog on the session, we use the same technology. We use the English interface. So it's gonna be an intuitive experience. So hopefully we welcome anyone who's interested, or like if you're free to attend the training as well. Yeah.
And just was one last thing, before
Yeah.
we sign out from the YouTube. Any last word, any quotes or anything would you like to tell to our viewers? It could be a quote from a James Bond movie or a Bill Gates quote, anything which is from Sherwin, or Sherwin would like to say anything. Just one last words for the YouTube, and then we can sign out from the YouTube and stay back on the Zoom.
What I would like is everyone who wants to start learning new technology, keep on learning. I have been helping lots of people, and then those who really excel in their career, like I think it's more of just settle with the quote, keep learning, and never settle for less, because Power Platform and any type of technology evolves really quickly, even Excel. So like you have to watch out for any new features, because you might be spending too much time reinventing the wheel, but there's actually a new feature that would let you do that function really well, and it allows you to adapt as well with how the space and technology works. So yeah, don't stop learning.
Great. Thank you, Sherwin. And my
Thank you so
friends,
much.
thank you very much for joining today. And we will be coming next month, inshallah. It's December. I'm trying my best, to find a speaker, for the month of December who will be coming and speaking because it's a Christmas. I'm just been getting a little bit relaxed, going to enjoy the new
Yeah.
year. So just want to make sure that I try to schedule the meetup as early as possible for the next month. But the Women in Tech will continue. This series of Women in Tech is very important for me and it will get continue. And you'll be seeing some more amazing women who will be coming and contributing to this meetup. So stay tuned, my friends, and I'll be seeing you in the next meetup. And make sure that you subscribe it. And I have already pasted the link in my video description about this presentation which Chevron has shared with us, and so you can feel free to download it. So take care, my friends. See you soon. Bye. Bye from
Bye
YouTube.
bye.